Welcome in to DC On Screen 344. This is the DCTV News. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
Guess what happened today, man?
What's that?
I received in the mail from the Warner Home Video Archive.
You finally got it?
The Zeta Project
Oh,
Season 2.
you finally got it.
I did.
Well, I admire your strength that you're still stopping to do this podcast instead of watching that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a thing that I've been waiting on for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got those episodes, and I'm guessing they released this news in tandem with the day that they knew that they were going to be sending out those pre-orders, because they have announced that they are actually doing Static Shock Season 2. They don't have a date yet. We haven't seen any art, but they say it's coming.
Excellent. So they got enough traction.
I guess so, and my Static Shock Season 1 will be here before the end of the month.
Now, there were,
I'm very pleased.
4 seasons, I want to say, of Static Shock?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
4 seasons.
Just keep buying, people. You'll get it all.
Yes, sir. That is the lesson.
That's really most of what we talk about here. Spend your money. Those votes count, man.
Mm-hmm. Vote with your dollar. Gotham news. We haven't had Gotham news in a while. It feels like.
It was bound to come around.
Yeah. David Mazouz. That's the way I've been told that we have to say his name.
Nah,
David Mazouz.
This one, I just think we should come up with our own interpretations of everyone's name. And roll with it.
That doesn't sound like a good idea at all.
Rabbi
we should at least
Lord
get close.
Taylor.
No.
No.
No, we've seen what happens when you're set to just make your own pronunciations of people's names.
It was a disaster. All right, I submit.
For almost 2 years now, you've referred to Moira Queen as
Yeah, I understand.
So David Mazouz was talking about what we can expect for the remainder of Season 3. He says, Court of Owls, Court of Owls, Court of Owls. The last 8 episodes are going to be very heavily Court of Owls. They have a plan. As I said, Bruce is going to be at the center of their plans. They do something to him that goes back to the very beginning of the show. Is something I would say is emotional, but it's beyond that. It shakes the core of Bruce's being. He'll never be the same. It will transform him, and that's going to be his arc in the last 8 episodes. About his clone, you will see him in the very next episode. The Court of Owls will become extremely present in the last 8 episodes. At the center of their plans is Bruce Wayne. Bruce and 514A are instrumental to that plan. Something huge will happen with Bruce in the Court of Owls that will change him forever and ultimately help transform him into the man we know he has to become.
That all sounds wonderful.
That sounds pretty cool. It either sounds really cool, or like the Court of Owls are going to make Bruce into a friggin' Talon, so he'll be like genetically predisposed to be Batman.
I mean, they could do that.
I mean, it's like they're gonna like shimmy up the old Eric Bana Hulk ladder, you know? Like, we'll do it on a genetic level.
No, they could get away with that probably on the show, but I'm excited about 2 things. One, the shake him to his core. I want to watch David play this shake it to his core kind of. I'm excited about watching that actor get to do this, and I'm actually really excited about Alfred reacting to that.
I wish this show wasn't set in like a timeless situation.
What'd you open
Because
for?
I want one scene where Alfred walks in to find Bruce dancing to Shake It Off by Tay-Tay. And then Bruce realizes he's there and he's very, very embarrassed.
Oh, but
and
you could do that in any era.
And Alfred goes, right then. And they just move on. They never address it again.
You could do that in any era. But
it
doesn't mean that I don't think that would be hilarious.
That would be great.
Yeah.
On to Supergirl.
It sounds like a good back half of the season they got planned there. They're going into June, by the way.
They are.
I mean, if you're just hardcore, don't plan your vacations in early June. Wait till July.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, heading into Supergirl, as if Tay-Tay wasn't enough of a Supergirl for you. Kreisberg, on the LA limitations for Supergirl, Kreisberg says about season 1 in LA, it was really hampering the storytelling. It's never easy to make these shows, but now we have the money to tell the stories we want to tell. He pointed out that in 4 episodes of season 1, the villain stopped by Kara's apartment as evidence of economics forcing the writing.
I kind of feel bad. I forget what we were talking about, but I actually remember us making fun of like, oh, they just dropped by Kara's apt.
Yeah.
And now I feel a little bad because, you know, they only had so much. Yeah. You had to write it for a certain set because that cost less and.
Yeah.
Okay. We all get it, and I was being short-sighted. I'm sorry.
All right, Kreisberg, take off the eye patch, put away your tin cup. We get it. You get our pity.
I like them acknowledging it though, because I specifically remember us. I'd have to go back and watch to even know who they were talking about.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember us referencing like, why are they just showing up?
Yeah, I'm just kidding, Kreisberg. I love you.
You're doing a great job, Ben.
He is. I like Andrew Kreisberg.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if he wasn't doing a great job, I just like him.
After the Fat Man interview,
it didn't hurt.
No, he was fantastic on that.
He was fantastic on that. But you know, every interview I've ever seen of the guy, you know, I've never seen him lie to us.
That's a good point.
Kreisberg is proof, you know, positive that you don't have to lie when you're an executive producer.
Yeah.
Guggenheim.
Miracle.
I was going to mumble miracle. If you didn't.
I'm calling him out.
I like how Phil Klemmer is just totally quiet all the time. He's just like, I'm just over here making my... I don't know why, but I imagine he's French. I'm just over here making...
No, Canadian
It just
French.
sounds German, but I can't do it.
Like more honest French.
I am making the Legends of Tomorrow. There is no need to be alarmed. I am simply over here making... Look, I am eating snails, escargot.
I simply make my show. You question me, no?
Making my show.
Okay.
If you did not like it, it was Guggenheim.
Yeah. Berlanti told me.
No. Greg Berlanti is salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. It was Guggenheim. I keep going back to German. I can't do the accents.
No, I know. We just shuffle around.
Anyway. Chyler Leigh was talking about Alex and Maggie's future, said they have a lot to grow together. But is that a sentence? They have a lot to grow... Whatever.
I don't know. Also, is it
they have a lot to grow
Leigh?
together.
I'm still confused about that.
I was told it was Chyler.
Okay. We have an open invitation for anyone to give us phonetic pronunciations to any of these things. So just...
Oh, and they do.
Yeah, and keep it coming.
They do.
We might remember it and actually do it.
I usually remember it.
I might also remember it and actually do it.
I mean, I get pronunciation advice from, you know, Matthew Ryan Cronin, my girlfriend Bethany, Brent and/or Scott from the Suicide Squad cast. Mm-hmm. So, you know, a lot of different people tell me how to pronounce things, and you know,
and apparently we need the help.
I try. I think you actually go out of the way not to do it right.
Me?
Though, yes.
I just have it's a level of zero fucks. It's not negative. I don't go out of my way to do it wrong. It's just that I see a word and say a word, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. And I don't think past it.
Dug around the closet. You looked in the drawers. You checked in the cupboards. None of
them out there. Yeah, and I couldn't bag them. Like set a little trap in the corner. Waited a few nights. Looked in the glue trap. None there. And so I tried to gather them, but I see a word. I say it. I go on with my day.
Yeah, little bastards like four-leaf clovers. God, I can't talk. 4-leaf clovers. You can't. Sorry, guys. Cough medication. That's what we'll say.
Whee!
No, I'm. I've been sick all week. I'm not all here. But yeah, Chyler Leigh, though, says they have, Alex and Maggie, they have a lot to grow together, but they are realizing how serious they are about each other. So I think there's some things coming up that would take it maybe to the next level. I don't know what that means, but okay. Remember,
I just figured it was like the next level of like intimacy or reliance or that healthy next level of codependency that we all take.
Yeah, it says is there such a thing? It says, remember, we've been told they are about to run into Maggie's ex, and we'll be getting more details about how Maggie came out. I mean, do they live together? I'm very unclear.
No, they have open dialogues in the last few episodes about your place or my place, and we're doing this or this.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily at all that they're not cohabitating at all. They're just still,
Okay. They just both have apartments and constantly run the fireplace.
And constantly run the fireplace.
Light candles.
And light candles.
There are just petals
everywhere. Just so much light and arson
I feel
potential.
I feel like some young people might be getting a false view of lesbianism, and they might be looking for something that's not there. Like, it's not that romantic. There
aren't that many candles
and rose petals everywhere, or rose petals. Have we seen rose petals?
I don't know. I think you might be making up the rose petal.
That might be true. But that's really dangerous. Don't keep lighting those fireplaces.
No.
Like, they seriously they never snuff out their fire on this show.
The fireplace thing is weird. I freely admit that. But
it's odd.
This is real. I had a mattress, like a mattress and a quilt covering, and about a 24 pack of little vanity candles and like a lighter in my trunk when I was 16 years old. Well,
that's just weird.
Just in case. No, it came in handy a few times.
Of course it did. Because the people you run around with. Wait, I'm one of the people you run around with.
Not when I was 16. When I was 16, I was being hopeful and optimistic, and it paid off a couple times. And
when I was 16, my version of being hopeful and optimistic was, hey, maybe that episode of Andy Griffith that I don't have on VHS will come on cable and I'll get to tape it today.
Well, that too.
Well,
Not with Andy Griffith, sure, but, I always hoped I would turn into Nick at Night.
Dyke?
Yeah, I always hoped I literally, I was going to say that. I always hoped I would turn into, Nick at Night and find the lecture. The Dick Van Dyke episode where he ends with the lecture with the slapstick comedy. I always hoped I would find that again.
Oh, man, that's a great one.
Isn't it a great
my favorite
bit?
one, though, my favorite one is where, what was the walnuts with the Martians?
No.
And he, loses his thumbs?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, he opens the closet and Mary Tyler Moore just comes Laura just comes rolling out with all the walnuts.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal show. Anyway,
one of my favorite weird bits was he gets her this necklace, and it's this weird Egyptian awful thing. It's like Beyonce couldn't pull this shit off. There's no way. It's just terrible. It's costume jewelry times costume jewelry to the third power.
Jason.
What?
Jason.
What at? You're going to say
pull
Beyonce can pull off anything? No.
Absolutely.
No. No, not this. Not this. My favorite part of that episode is he invites friends over to show her the necklace, and he has his Mary Tyler Moore or Laurie Petrie in the bay window and opens the curtains to her. Laurie Petrie.
So I think I said Laura earlier. Was it
opens up the bay window to reveal her real nervous. I don't know. I really did love that show when I was coming of age.
Yeah, it's been years since I've seen Dick Van Dyke show. So any names I got wrong, I apologize for any hardcore Dick Van Dyke fans out there. Apparently, we do have a sizable portion of our audience is the plus 65 crowd.
So who knows?
I apologize. Please write us in if you can figure out how to use the internet, and
let us know. We're available by email, snail mail.
I don't know what you know.
I'm
also just kidding, by the way.
Last thing, I promise. One of my favorite running jokes from that show was they were sketch writers for the comedy show, and they'd write a sketch, and it'd come back, and there'd be like a crumple of paper, and like Dick Van Dyke would look at it and go, "Oh no, that's Mel's crumple." Like he personally had crumpled it up, and like, "Oh yeah, no, he personally rejected this."
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. What's actually happening now?
You know what? We should just do a separate podcast about comedy. Because we talk about this stuff all the time between me and you.
No, we haven't the time or energy. We're just going to interject it on this poor podcast we're doing now instead.
Yeah. On to the Flash.
That's a good transition.
On to the Flash. Say it like that. That means seriousness. But levity as well. There's a little bit of news about Savitar Revelations, about the reveal of Savitar. Daniel Panabaker says, slowly different characters are going to learn who Savitar is. I like that.
That sounds really cool. Yeah.
That sounds cool, but it also sounds a little bit like Arrow, we're going to keep it secret from everybody else crap.
Maybe they could get really clever with it, and we know the Flash writers are capable of being super clever.
But we also know they haven't been terribly clever the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, well, they've been a little downer the last few episodes, and I've seen some press that says as much, like, "Oh, what happened to all the fun in the Flash?" Well, you could take some time.
Anyway, she says, but I don't know if the audience is going to be told anytime soon. See, that's not okay.
Yes and no. I like the idea that some of the characters are going to know and we won't.
Yeah, maybe. Grant Gustin, our resident Barry Allen, says it's not the same as past reveals. With Zoom and Reverse Flash, the audience was starting to realize things before we all started to piece it together. But I don't know how you would know this year. And when you do find out, it's like, oh my God, there are really no secrets or hints leading up to it. What do you make of that, man?
I like it. I want to be that surprised. I want to watch the show.
It's so dramatic, I don't believe it.
There's that too, but I like the bravado of it, where I want to watch it and go, oh my God, I never saw that coming. But I also kind of think, there's a lot of theories out there right now.
It's Joe.
Yeah.
Like, what would be the one thing you didn't guess? It would be Joe. Or that Savitar was Iris.
Yeah, like Savitar's Iris or something, or...
And Iris being a speedster, not without precedent.
Yeah, I guess it is in there, but...
And maybe Savitar would kill Iris just to keep Savitar from having to endure the eternity in the trapped in the Speed Force, going insane over and over again.
Maybe. It's a hard guessing game right now, and I kind of want to save my guessing for the Flash reviews, I guess.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I just enjoy doing it here too. I just keep doing it.
No, I say that because I need another episode of the Flash to do any better guessing.
No matter what, I'll be right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just guess everything.
Right.
I tell you who does know who Savitar is Abra Kadabra. I'm a little sad that it's going to be that jerk off that played Dwight on Gotham.
It will be. You're going to get that.
But Andrew Kreisberg says the 18th episode will involve Abracadabra, and that Abra, the douchebag from Gotham who played Dwight, being from the future, knows who Avatar is. He says it becomes a moral conundrum to let Abracadabra go in order to learn Savitar's identity. It's one of those great morality plays. Can you be a hero if you do one bad thing for the greater good? Well, yeah, it's not really a morality play. It's a yes. It's a qualified yes from me. He also teased
that
episode
is a morality
19.
Play. I mean,
no,
that's the definition of a morality play. Doing any one good thing for bad thing or bad thing for good thing or whatever.
Yeah, it is, to be fair, but, Anyway, he also teased episode 19 as having a trip to the future for Barry. I'm not sure. I saw that floating around too. And, it's Barry deciding that he has to go to the future to find out who Savitar is so he can stop him before Iris bites the bullet. It seems obvious somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm down for it. I just hope, my fear, and it's not really even a fear, it's just a stupid desire of mine. I want him to go, really far into the future. like 50 years and then just like look back on like web headlines or whatever, be like, oh yeah, it was that guy. Cool. And like, why'd you go so far in the future, Barry? Wanted to.
Well, it makes you wonder, why didn't we think of this before? Why don't we just go 100 years in front of that, or 50 years in front of that, before like the news gets scattered and history starts to, be written by the victors and so on. Let's just go, I don't know, 17 months in front of that, where the news is pretty raw.
Yeah. Popping over to some Supergirl Flash news. Mon-El and Iris, their roles have been revealed in the musical. Candace Patton says Barry and Kara envision this world where Iris's character and Mon-El's character are very, very deeply in love with each other, and that obviously throws them off because those are their love interests. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
What's interesting is apparently Melissa Benoist and the guy that plays Mon-El, I can't remember his name. I never remember. Chris Wood? Is that right? I think that's right.
I don't know. Go for it. Sure.
They're actually whatever, knocking boots.
Are they dating?
Yeah, bumping uglies, as they say.
That's a pretty couple.
It's a terrible way to describe it. What's wrong with me?
Not sure mine was any better, but whatever.
The poster for the musical has been revealed there. The poster is out, and good looking shot. Barry being used as a marionette puppet.
Okay, it sounds more sexual when you say it out loud.
I mean, does it? I was honestly, I didn't think about that. I honestly just thought hey, that sounds like season 1 with Harrison Wells pulling the strings.
I know, and actually
it
makes a ton of sense. I just, when you said the sentence dry, I thought, oh, that sounds off.
When I said what?
Saying the sentence dryly, it sounds off.
Oh, it's a good looking shot of Barry being used
as a marionette puppet. Yeah,
it does sound kind of.
It doesn't sound,
sexual, doesn't it?
It's not representative of the actual poster's well done. Go look it up. It is absolutely SFW. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Not a lot of wood then.
Just the two planks crossed over. See, and there we go again.
He told me to meet him outside in the back alley. He said there would be no strings attached.
Yeah, there are. How did we make that bad?
Because we're us.
Sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
It's a spirit.
So, Todd Helbing said he was talking about the actual impact of the musical. He says, you'll see at the end of the musical where Iris and Barry are, it sort of kickstarts the last 6 episodes. God, the last 6 episodes. It doesn't seem like there's only 6 left.
I know.
There's another episode further down the line where Barry does something to get a key piece of information to help them, and that really snowballs into the last couple of episodes. Candace Patton adds, I think for Barry and Iris, there's always a way to come back. They are really and truly each other's true loves. They just have to get on the same page and stick with it. They could. That's up to the writers, sweetie.
Yeah.
Stop soap operaing me.
It is, but she's got a point.
Yeah. There was a bit of I think this was all from the Paleyfest, right?
I think so.
Was all
if
this
I,
from the
if,
Paleyfest?
if I know what you're talking about, I think it's coming up.
Okay. Kreisberg was talking about Joss Whedon's influence on the musical episode. He says, you think of Hush or The Body or Once More with Feeling, and what's so great about those episodes is they didn't stop the ongoing narrative of the season to step outside and do something fun. Those episodes really spoke to what the characters were going through. We kind of set it up so that both Barry and Kara would be at romantic crossroads. When they go into the musical episode, they're both in the same place, and they can go on this journey together to either get back the love that they think they lost or not. See, that feels to me, because we felt like it was a really stupid decision for Barry to be like, last episode, for Barry to be like, I don't know what we're doing here, blah, blah, how can we move forward with the thing?
Right.
And I think they forced that so that they could do the musical episode. Because they wanted this musical episode to be more like Once More with Feeling, where great character revelations are had, And, everyone, there's something emotional saying about, I feel like that's what they did here. And, you didn't say it in that many words, Kreisberg, but I kind of feel like, hack move, man. Hack move.
That's
my take.
That's possible. I'm also just happy that the musical will mean something.
There is also that. I was worried that it wouldn't.
I'm willing to take this trade-off. All right, you had this weird moment at the end of Flash that just it doesn't make sense. I've considered it a few times. I'd love to have someone point out some giant emotional construct where it makes sense, and I'm happy to listen. But it just didn't make sense. And to go into the musical episode, we thought, hey, okay, so apparently Music Meister just kidnapped some minutes a bottle episode. That's what we were talking about a few weeks ago ourselves.
Yeah.
I like the idea that they've taken that. They've taken the Whedon instinct. They've taken, at least they've thought about it, and it's going to evolve the emotional relationships for the characters involved. Okay, thank goodness there's something that's going to matter here. Because it's not like it's not like I wouldn't enjoy this episode. It's just, I want it to matter a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, there are bottle episodes in every season. You always have a villain of the week or just... Yeah. You don't have to advance it every time.
This would never be, in a million years, be considered a bottle episode, even if it didn't advance the plot, because a bottle episode is an episode that uses existing sets because they're specifically trying to save money.
Yeah, but that's it's the economics version of a bottle episode. A bottle episode in terms of writing,
it's a narrative.
Yeah, in terms of narrative is just, this happened here. Period.
Economically, it's the opposite of a bottle episode.
Oh, economically,
it's going out of the way to make an expensive ass episode.
Oh, completely.
There's nothing, no weight on the actual narrative of the overall season.
Yeah, you're right. Normally a bottle episode is what if we just kept it on the bridge of the Enterprise?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and in this case, it's the term has evolved to incorporate what if we just kept it so that this episode involved this amount of characters and it didn't affect the overall storyline. It was just a thing that has nothing to do with the rest of the arc of the series, even in the sub characters. But I do appreciate that they've kind of come out and said, oh no, this is going to actually affect at least the romantic storylines of the respective series.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is nice, because I was bitching about that 2 weeks ago.
By the way, you want to know what the best bottle episode of Star Trek is?
Go for it.
Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, pretty much. Almost the entirety of the entire movie takes place on either the Enterprise bridge or the Reliant, which is a redress of the Enterprise bridge.
All right. All right.
It builds upon the characters in ways that we had never even thought they would do. It furthers the storyline for those characters. It enriches the entire franchise. Very well done. Bottle episode.
All right. We could do commentary on bottled episodes for a while. All right. So
yes, moving on.
Quick question: between two bottle episodes.
Okay.
I forget the names of each of these, but the Who Took My Pen episode of Community.
Okay.
You remember?
I believe the answer was Annie's boobs.
Annie's boobs, yes. But that was revealed.
I don't remember the name of the episode.
That was revealed quietly. No, I don't remember the names of these episodes. Or what was happening with on Rick and Morty with the fake characters that didn't actually exist?
Oh, well, there were.
It all takes place in the living room, but it's all
yeah. I don't think that counts because it's animation. Maybe it does.
I don't know. It was pretty bottled.
It was bottled, but I'm not. I mean, do they? I mean, I guess they have to spend extra to paint new background scenes.
Oh no, no. The term has evolved to mean like if it took place inside this amount of space.
Sure.
I'm good with it.
I don't remember the name of the episode, but yeah, it was like some sort of parasite that like feeds off of you, and you believe that person has been there your entire life, but they're not really part of your life.
Right.
They were just, and of course, the character that we've never seen before, who turned out to be real, was Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Right.
Ooh wee.
Wonderful times. Wonderful times.
Which to have you embrace a character named Mr. Poopy Butthole
and care about him
is a feat beyond, and care about him is a feat beyond anything I've ever been able to achieve.
You watch him not being able to get off of bed, and like muttering to his doctor about who should leave the the visitor area. And you care.
Yeah. Anyway. Over to Legends. There's a surprise cameo coming on the penultimate Legends episode. Guggenheim says, of course, it's Guggenheim, so, grain of salt, guys. Guggenheim says, I will call it a surprise crossover. No one knows this because we've kept it under wraps, but there's a surprise cameo, surprise crossover moment in the penultimate episode of Legends. He also said to expect a satisfying Easter egg in that episode and Katie Cassidy's appearance in the season finale. I'm going to go ahead and guess that the character is Barry Allen.
That sounds good.
I mean, we've been teasing
he was
all
already
up all season.
precursored.
Yeah. And also, Guggenheim is not a surprise if you tell us to expect it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see some of the problem with your narrative. You don't know what words mean, like surprise. Maybe shut up about the thing.
Surprise or expect.
It's like, I'm not going to tell you how or when, but we're going to throw you a surprise.
But exactly
birthday
this
party.
thing is going to happen now and then.
You only have a finite number of characters to think about, and if you think about it hard enough, none of them are a surprise. Therefore, no matter what you do, nothing you've done is a surprise.
And that's the magic of television.
Googs. I'm sorry. Just, dipshit.
We'll
I'm
probably
sorry,
still end up being wrong for some reason.
Jeez. Yeah, unless it's probably going to be Booster Gold.
Oh,
We're like,
yeah.
What? But except I've now just said it, so if it happens, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah.
By the way, my friend Cara asked me, and I didn't have an answer. She said, why didn't they just chuck that Spear of Destiny piece that was in the American flag on the moon? Why didn't they just chuck it into space? I didn't have an answer. She said that would have solved all the problems. I thought, yeah, that would have been pretty good.
That wouldn't have solved all the problems.
Yeah, the Legion of Doom couldn't have gotten all of the Spear of Destiny.
Yeah, they could have.
No, shit was in space.
In space with a super scientist that could probably track it down over time.
Ah.
No, seriously, we're talking about a super scientist on the level that he could have seen the trajectory of the chucking and taken a decent guess in his own time if he felt like it. And no, you can track down anything in space.
You think?
Just very nearly anything in space.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially if you know where it lifted off.
You know what? I don't have a mind for science, so I don't know. I'm going to headcanon that you're correct.
You need a reflection of fission or light to give you a basic idea of where something is. That's it.
You know what I know about fission? You can't drown a fission sun in a lake.
No, you cannot.
That's what I know about fission.
That's a fact.
And I feel pretty good about it because apparently Sam Raimi didn't know it. Or care. Spider-Man 2. Why?
No.
Why Spider-Man 2?
It was a down point.
On to Arrow.
Oh, Arrow. Down to brass tacks.
So, back to not knowing how to pronounce names. Lexa Dogue, maybe? Every time I see her name, I think it's either Alexa Dog or Alexa Dong.
I don't know what to do with hers.
But I'll say
it's like 8 letters and we still fuck it up.
According to Arrow's Talia,
Mm-hmm.
this is how the producers kept the crew from knowing who Prometheus really was. So I'll be in for, say, half a day. And you see on the call sheet the list of the other casts that are in. And even when Prometheus is playing, there's no cast member listed next to the name of Prometheus. So even working on the show, I have no idea who's supposed to be playing Prometheus when I look at the call sheet, because it doesn't say, and nobody tells me. Apparently even Adrian Chase didn't know, so that's fun. Just so like when you go back and watch the season, I don't know why you would, but if it was a pretty good season, but so far,
it was a good season.
Go back, you could rest assured, because we know we've been told. The guy, Josh Segarra, did not have any idea he was Prometheus. So all of that like nuanced acting he was doing, he was just doing it.
Yep.
Josh Segarra said, "I remember hearing the name throughout, but I didn't associate that with my character. I don't know why I didn't. You're waiting to get to work, and you're waiting to see a post online that says you're joining the cast, and it says Vigilante. Then, when I read that, I go, oh, interesting, okay, I didn't know I was going to play this guy. That's pretty fun." That's when I did all my nerdy stuff that I take a lot of pride in and did my reading. I spoke with Mark or Wendy, where I was telling them about how I'm reading up on Vigilante and Chase, and they're like, oh yeah, oh okay, we have to explain something to you. And what that is we don't give a shit about the source material.
What we should explain is that you're wasting your time, and adorably, I may add.
Yeah. We do this thing where we like to give people names that make it seem like you're going to be somebody,
Sure.
but then you're not somebody.
Yeah.
That's the only way we have of subverting the audience's expectations, because we have no imagination. Sorry. That's mean, and it's not completely accurate. You know what? Arrow Season 5 has been really good. I should just shut up.
I'm going to go with you should shut up on that one. It has been fun.
Yeah.
They have thrown us a few curves. Adrian Chase does not have to be Vigilante necessarily.
No.
And apparently he's actually not named Adrian Chase, so that's
which has been pointed out.
Yeah. So
it's just, I get a little weird. I get a little tetchy, they might say. We've dealt with so 5 years of this. Just because this year has been good didn't mean that I wasn't sick of it last year or the year before. Like, stop throwing names at me and making me excited for a thing and then turning it around on me. That doesn't make me happy.
That part gets hard to deal with.
It's just that's not fun for me. Like, I'm not watching this show because I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? It's not like I'm watching Lost. I'm like, I know that Oliver Queen is going to win. I know that he's the Green Arrow, and I know he's going to win.
It's not like you're watching Lost, wondering when you're going to lose your sanity. Or when you're going to give up on narrative as a concept.
Right. Right. I'm just saying, Lost is the last time, I remember really thinking, like...
When can a show be 80% Easter egg and 20% not plot?
It was about 90% plot, and it just had, what people were just making up Easter eggs, I think. Mm-hmm. But the fun part of Lost was that I got really wrapped up in it, and it did. I stand by the last episode. I liked the last episode. I didn't when it aired, but I hated it when it aired. Right? I hated it when it aired, but when I thought about it over time, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's really pretty beautiful." Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to get into Lost exactly about how all that went down, but I think that's the mark of a good show. Because no ending is ever going to be exactly what you thought it was going to be, and no ending is ever going to fulfill everything you wanted it to fulfill.
No.
Especially when you're so wrapped up and involved in a TV show, but.
I've had years to consider The Sopranos and Dexter, and they can still go both. They can fuck themselves.
Yeah, but Lost, on the other hand, and I would agree with. I don't know about Dexter, but Sopranos, I would agree with you. Lost, it was mere weeks, mere months before I was. You know what? That's really cool. And looking into Lostpedia, there were only two things that weren't completely. They were partially solved. Everything else was solved.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, well, that's not bad at all. Then, like, what was I bitching about? This is actually a pretty solid show.
It's all ran together okay. All right, fine.
So, you know, and if you didn't get it, I'm sorry you didn't get it. And I get it. I get what Damon Lindelof says and Carlton Cuse, and I'm not saying that I dig Damon Lindelof completely, but, you know, I'm just saying, you know, when you look back on a TV show, if you're still thinking about a TV show years after it came out, they did a pretty good job, didn't they?
I still go back to Sopranos.
Sopranos was a cop-out, though. Like, you can still think about it, but it was a cop-out. Like, they threw enough in there to make you think, like, well, they played this song on this episode, and maybe that was an indicator. No, screw that.
No, it was bullshit.
You know, I'm just saying. But
I mean,
I'm hard.
I take this stance, come what may. That
Here's
was
the
bullshit.
thing. I feel like, absolutely, I agree on The Sopranos. I am hard on Guggenheim and Miracle. We both are. Mm-hmm. But we want so badly for Arrow to be good.
And it has been great this season.
It has been great this season.
Wrap it back around to an actual thing that has DC involved. It has been a great season for Arrow so far.
Dude, everything has DC involved. DC has like been around since like the 30s. Not the 40s, 30s.
We're looking at 77, 78 years, depending on like where you see the roots.
DC has informed American culture and American narrative.
Hugely.
So absolutely DC is involved in any of this crap that we talk about. Absolutely it is. But importantly, you know, I don't want DC to be relegated to, you know, oh, well, that's, you know, comic book television. And, you know, we've read reviews from our show, people talking about how we're a little harsh, you know, or too harsh, or, you know, and we've also heard people saying that we are blind, optimists about the whole thing. I don't think we're either. I think we toe a line, and sometimes we joke around about Guggenheim being a liar and a sack of crap or something, but he's done a fantastic.
They've done a sack of crap, but liar.
We haven't. We haven't said sack of crap. I just thought it'd be funny.
Definitely accused the gigs of lying.
I totally just thought that would be funny. Yeah. But, you know, like, I would, you know, I'm not saying I would kiss his filthy ring finger if I met him, but, I would be okay with the guy. You're like, okay, well, yeah, I would like to just sit down and talk with him and say, like, I know being a showrunner is harder.
I know, I would sure as hell buy him a coffee and say, man, should I get an Ambien instead?
Right? You know, I do respect, man. I mean, to the Googs. You know, I may not agree with your methods, but, you know, humbly bow.
Did work. Dude, absolutely worked.
You know, I would love to, you know, have these DC shows, and I feel like The Flash is achieving that 9 times out of 10. Arrow this season, absolutely, but they've been a little rocky. I would absolutely love, though, for DC to be a little more, the DC shows to be a little more, I don't know, deep, a little more interesting in their storytelling, and I don't feel like throwing fake names at us is necessarily the way to get there. Playing with our knowledge of continuity. And I know it's hard because in this day and age we have the internet and we can just look up who anybody is and be like, oh, okay, they're Crazy Quilt. Okay, well, we have to make them somebody else.
I actually have to give them that. Like, in a world where all of this is on display, mm-hmm. I kind of respect the fact that they've been hijacking names sometimes. Now, when you do it with like Baron Rider, where it's Baron Blitzkrieg, and there's nothing happened, nothing that even remotely satisfied that awful character was in play. That's weird. That's just weird. But like when you take a character that if you just pull a name somewhere and hijack it a little bit and do something different, there's something different to that. It can still mean something. There's a big universe worth of IPs to pull from.
Yeah,
I'm okay with redefining some things. I just
sure.
I'm not okay with like redefining some things and just becoming impotent at the last second.
Well, yeah. The problem is like up until the point where we saw Adrian's wife in that hospital room, it would have served the story better, I felt, for him to be Vigilante. Based on what I've seen so far. Now, they might finish out the season and make me feel like, nope, absolutely, he should have been Prometheus. That's fine.
Now, all right.
So far, I'm thinking he should have been Vigilante.
So far, you think Adrian Chase still would have been better served as a Vigilante?
Absolutely.
After having stabbed her?
No. I'm just saying, up until the point, that's what I just said.
Oh, okay. All
All
right. So,
we see her in that hospital room.
A couple episodes before.
Where he's like, this is my wife.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, okay, things are clearly not right here.
Yep.
Anyway. I'm just saying, I kind of, once we saw the wife, I was like, oh, this is going to be a name shift.
Honestly, like,
fine, whatever.
All right, the last episode of Arrow, you saw the wife be presented to Prometheus. They brought her there to die.
Mm-hmm. It was a dumb move on Oliver's part.
Dumb move on Team Arrow.
But I mean, the guy that played the Josh Segarra, man, like when he sees her and he recognizes what's about to have to go down, like there's true sorrow in his face. There's regret.
Yeah.
That he's about to have to stab her.
Yeah.
So I mean, good on him for being a good. Look, I'm just saying they're not mostly executing it well. I'm just saying it's a little weird and off-putting.
Anyway,
like, not everything has to be away from the comics, guys. Come on.
They can stay.
Anyway, Guggenheim on Felicity's involvement with Helix. He says she's going to get a chance to experience things a little bit more from Oliver's perspective. I think the reason they broke up was her difficulty to see things from Oliver's perspective. They broke up fundamentally because she didn't trust Oliver, and the reason she didn't trust Oliver is she couldn't understand why he made the decisions he made. That sounds like a liar defending a liar.
A little bit.
Sorry. I had to make the joke. I had to. I couldn't live with myself if I did.
That's fine.
Our listeners know that about me.
And I expect nothing less.
Guggenheim was writing all of those Diggle lines, wasn't he?
Yeah. Probably.
You can never trust. You will never
really
trust.
Really, I don't know, man. She's gonna go into this dark place apparently, and suddenly see where he was coming from. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, some part of me says, yeah, she should have seen this before, and some part of me thinks that's the reason we love Felicity so much, is that she had to go through this herself.
David Ramsey, on his Flash guest appearances, it is actually a lighter atmosphere on Flash because there's bright light, there's a gel with every color, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, and we're literally separated by a wall. By the way, they have cans of sodas on their show. We don't. We don't get Coke or Mountain Dew or Pepsi. Flash does. Guggenheim joked that they could have soda if Arrow's ratings get up there with the Flash's.
Take that, Arrow.
Wow. And you know what's funny? I don't think Guggenheim was joking.
Probably not, no. Yeah, no, seriously.
So,
y'all get your ratings up. Pringles can be on your way. Doritos. What's popular now?
I don't know.
We can get Spotify hanging out with you. We can absolutely have some Coke and Pepsi on your way.
Sure. Stephen Amell, and I don't think this is old news. I saw it. I didn't see it in my news stream, but I saw it on Facebook, and I don't remember it. Stephen Amell posted a picture of the Deathstroke mask from the island on the pike with the sword, with the arrow through it, with the caption "Hello, old friend."
Mm.
So that happened. We know he's going back to the island at some point, right?
Yep.
Apparently the Arrow finale will be different this year. Weenie Miracle says, I'll just say this, Star City is not in jeopardy, thank God. As we've joked before, there's always a terrorist attack on Star City in May, not this time. Prometheus is a very personal villain, very psychological villain, and the ending will be appropriate to that. Amen, sister. Yes.
That should be pretty great.
Now, Juliana Harkavi, the new Black Canary, says she is still waiting to find out whether she will be returning to Arrow in Season 6. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, they've set her up so hard. I don't know what to do with that. Like, they have to kill her or write her off or something.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be great to kill off another Black Canary.
Were they coal miners?
Coal miner's canary.
That all makes sense. Promise.
Yeah. Why do you think the canary is black? It's from the coal.
Yep.
The coal, my boy. She's got the black lungs. Why she don't sing no more. Moving on quickly.
Yep.
Shut up.
That was for both of us. Promise.
All right. Fair enough. NetherRealm has dropped news of Firestorm via Up Up Down Down's YouTube channel. Some gameplay action over there if you head on over and check it out. It's so weird that Firestorm is like mainstream lexicon now, isn't it?
Yep.
God. I remember saying stuff about Firestorm, people being like, what kind of crack are you smoking? I'm like, oh, only the best kind.
Do the things, and there's like 2 of them, and yeah, no, Firestorm.
Smoke this crack, I become the nuclear man.
Yeah.
So, WonderCon,
he should be fantastic as an Injustice character. That'll be good.
Yeah. WonderCon, like as we mentioned, March 31st through April 2nd in Anaheim, California. This year's DC panels will include Teen Titans Go, Justice League Action, Lucifer, and Gotham. That's a pretty tidy guest list.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I've got.
Maybe anyone involved with Lucifer will say something next week.
Like what?
Anything involving the next half of that series.
We haven't had like any real like concrete Lucifer news in quite a long time.
No, it's just been sitting there.
And I'm a little afraid they're just going to come back over the summer and finish up.
No, they've got a couple like air dates laid out, and it's pretty much late, May through June. Great. Okay. See you then. What are you doing? Oh, procedural. Oh, okay.
I would be lying if I didn't say I wasn't looking forward to God Johnson, whatever that is.
Oh, I'm totally looking forward to God Johnson. Candy Morningstar, great. Okay, yeah, let's see what happens.
Less interested in that, but yeah. I'm like, oh, look, an obstacle for him and Chloe.
Yeah, I know. We've got what we've got there. I don't know.
Anywho, you got anything else?
Nope.
Any personal messages for loved ones who may be listening?
I love them.
That's weird, Jason. Why wouldn't you just call them and tell them that?
You made it seem so, I don't know, perfunctory.
What's wrong with you, man? We are DC on Screen.
I'm a detached person.
We are DC on Screen. You can find every episode at dconscreen.com. Sorry. You can find us at iTunes.
Excuse our sickened Dave. Also applaud him. He's done his best in the last few episodes.
I have.
A quick for Dave.
Yay.
Sick as all pollen's fuck. Hanging in there.
What was that?
All of the pollen's fuck?
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I asked. Every episode, dconscreen.com. We're on Instagram. We're on the Twitter there. I know it's not popular to say it that way, but I just did, so deal with it.
He does the Twitters?
We do put out the tweets from time to time. We're on Facebook as well. So those things. DC on Screen. One word. Just put it all together. Proud members of the Giant Size Team Up Network. GiantSizeTeamUp.com. Not even sure I said it that last episode. But you know what? Sorry. Here we are saying it now. And we'll be back with more reviews. Do we have 4 episodes this coming week?
I think so, yeah. I think it's all of them.
Yeah.
It's all the CWDC.
Right. It's Earth 1 and 38. All of it. So, yeah. It's going to be a fun but tiresome week, we will say. And I look forward to all of the shows. And I look forward to talking about those shows with you, Jason, and with you, the listener. You guys can contact us and talk about any of these shows. We'll probably won't respond until we've seen the shows, and then we'll respond because we're kindly blokes, and we appreciate your patronage to our show. And until then, until such a time as that arrives, keep some DC on your screen.